Alright, just aired up the tires. Let's give it a quick test ride. So it started after turning the choke off, so it's probably running pretty rich. I don't know if it's the jetting or too much oil or both, because I know that the previous owner said that even though it's oil injected, you got the oil tank here, he still added some two-stroke oil to the gas, so it's probably really heavy on the oil mix. Nope. Yeah, it does not want to idle. Nice. Front brake needs some attention. All right. I think the carb needs some attention. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna pull this carb off. Here we got this KTM Mini Adventure, and it doesn't really want to idle well. It just bogs out when you give it gas and dies. It's been sitting for a while. I just replaced the kickstart gears on there to actually get it started. So now we're gonna tear apart the carb and see what we can find, clean it, rebuild it, and see if that helps or fixes the problem completely. The guy I bought this from said it had been sitting, so it could be old gas. It's oil injected, which he said still works, but he still put oil in the gas just for insurance, so I'm sure it's really heavy on the oil mixture. Since this is really filthy, oily, gassy, I'm gonna go spray it off quick. Alright, got it a little bit cleaner. I'm going to pull the carb off. Not sure what all needs to come off since it has the oil injection system. Hopefully we can just unhook it and slide the carb off. First we'll get these carb clamps. Okay, not sure if this looks like the throttle cable. Yep, that wasn't even tight. Let's just pull this screw off. This should be the cap for the throttle slide. Yep. There we go. Throttle slide and needle. Now we got to pull the fuel line off, or we can just rotate the carb some more. Make sure the fuel's shut off there. There we go. Now it's just this oil injection line. Guessing it's better to pull it off here because it looks a little more solidly mounted there. Uh-oh. Great. Well, it looks like I just broke that. That was the wrong idea. Gotta be careful about that nipple there. It's very fragile. It's on there pretty tight. Trying to figure out the best way to get this carb off of the air boots here. Alright, well I got the carb in the cleaner. I pulled this oil injection system off. So it's just 2 bolts on here, and it pulls off with the gear that pushes the oil through this little nipple that I broke off and up into the carb. So we're just pulling this off and replacing it with an oil injection block off kit from Nilo Concepts. It's my first time buying a part from them, and I mean the machining looks totally fine. I just wish that it came with a new seal. I had to find a seal in one of my seal kits. Comes with a couple of caps to block off where the hoses go in, I believe on the oil injector tank as well as the carburetor. So I'm not sure if there's a gasket that's supposed to be here. I don't think so, since there's a seal here. So hopefully this just pops right in. I put a little bit of grease on that O-ring to help it slide in there better, but it's still a little bit tough to get on. It looks like the previous owner put some gunk on it right there, and maybe that's what's making it hard to install. Here's how it looks with it on. Just need to find some bolts that fit. Well, I used the plug from the Nilo kit for the oil tank, and it just slides right off. So, not super happy about that. Thankfully, I had my own vacuum caps, and let's see here, it is 5/32 inside diameter, and that seems to fit well. I put some pre-mixed gas in there. There was still a little bit left from the previous owner, who actually mixed some gas in addition to using the oil injection, so we know it was super high mixture rate, way more than it needed. I tried to drain as much out as I could, so now got a clean carb, a little bit of fresh gas. Let's see if it starts. Oh, that's a good sign. Doesn't want to stay running though. Still sounds like it's starving for fuel. Maybe it just needs to be cleaned out. Alright, so it's definitely bogging, but I noticed that even when I rev it and it dies out, it's still shooting out smoke. I'm guessing, to me, that seems like there's still a ton of oil in the top end, the power valve, maybe the exhaust, the muffler, just the whole system. That's just kind of flooding the engine out and causing it to die out. So I'm going to shut the camera off, kind of try and clean it out by running it some more and see if that helps. Alright, it wasn't really clearing out, so I decided to pull the spark plug, and it's definitely black. I mean, it's starting to get brown in the middle there, but I'm guessing it's pretty fouled. Definitely too much oil. It's due to be replaced, and it's actually, not sure if it's going to show up, BR9 ES, and the manual calls for a BR8. That could be part of the reason why it's fouling plugs as well. So we're going to toss a BR8 in there and see how it runs. A fresh one. Fresh spark plug. We're ready for a test ride. Alright, I had to adjust both brakes because they were pretty much unusable. Should be ready to go now. I'm gonna grab a screwdriver to test the air screw. Okay, choke is off, gas is on. This thing is tiny. That's pretty good throttle response so far. Woo! Yeah, you can definitely tell when that power band kicks in. Yeah, it revs out pretty clean actually. I don't even know if we'll have to do any tuning on this. Front brake isn't the best. Yeehaw! Rear brake is pretty strong. I'd say it runs pretty good. I think it's ready to go. Just needs to be cleaned up because it's filthy. So if you have a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke and want to get it tuned, I do have some resources in the description below. Or if you live near Oak Grove, Minnesota and want to get your bike tuned, whether it has a carb or electron, there's a link to my website in the description below as well. I'm Kelly Fagan from MX Hideout. Ride safe, have fun.